guys, welcome back to the Locker Room this week after our short hiatus due to Hurricane Florence. But I am here with Agent P, Perry Dominici, and the outfielder Jackson Fields. Welcome back, guys. Glad to have you back. Let's talk some football. So we've been through 2 weeks of the NFL so far. Who surprised you the most so far this season?
My biggest surprise so far has definitely been Ryan Fitzpatrick in the Buccaneers offense. 8 touchdowns, just 1 pick through 2 games. He's lighting up. Everybody's expecting them to struggle with Jameis Winston being suspended, but he might have lost his job with the way Fitzpatrick's been playing.
Yeah, do you think Jameis will be the backups now?
I think if the Bucs can get a win on Monday night against the Steelers, kind of a proven team, even though they're struggling, they're still a good NFL team. I think if he wins this one, Jameis is the backup.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later when we make our predictions. What about you, Jackson?
Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs has been a big surprise. It's been basically his rookie year. He only played 1 game last year, and through 2 games, he's got 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. Last week, he threw more touchdowns than incompletions. He's just lighting everybody up. So I think he'll continue that. He's got a good chance to win MVP if he keeps playing like this.
I mean, yeah, he's on track to throw 80 touchdowns. All right. So for me, it's got to be James Conner. I mean, this guy, with all the controversy surrounding Le'Veon Bell, it's really impressive to see this guy come in and fill in the shoes of someone like Le'Veon Bell and to produce the numbers he's been putting up. Just really impressive overall. I've been liking James Conner's game a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about some surprises. Who's been your wow, I cannot believe you're playing this bad right now?
For me, that's going to be Deshaun Watson. He had 19 touchdowns through his games last year before he tore his ACL, and he's come back and just hasn't looked the same at all. They are averaging just 13 points a game last year compared to over 20 last year when he was in. The offense is struggling. He's just not getting the ball out. I think they really got to fix some stuff in Houston.
Yeah, I think that starts with the offensive line. The Texans' offensive line is brutal right now. They're really
One
struggling.
of the worst, for sure.
Yeah.
You got to think maybe they rushed him back too quickly.
There's
They're
always
trying to
that
get him back from
possibility.
week 1,
Yeah.
and his knee's just not right yet.
Yep.
What about you, Jackson?
For me, it's been the Pittsburgh Steelers overall. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell, that's a distraction. They seem to be in the news in a bad way every week, but they just haven't been performing. They're 0-1-1, and most people thought they would contend for a Super Bowl this year, and they haven't looked good at all.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. The Steelers, not really. Looking like the Pittsburgh team we're accustomed to seeing every year.
Yeah.
Like Steelers, no matter what, will be in that AFC championship contention. But I do think it's early in the season, and Mike Tomlin's been doing this a long time. I think he'll know what to do to start fixing things and start to look better as the season goes on. So we have some predictions to go through. All right, the first game we have, the New Orleans Saints will be traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Who do you got, Perry?
I got Atlanta in this one. The Saints defense hasn't looked like it did last year. They're letting up a lot of points, and the Falcons integrated Calvin Ridley last week. Week 1, he didn't do much, but week 2, he really helped spread the offense, kind of take some pressure off Julio, so I think he'll be able to spread the ball against the Saints.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. The Falcons are dealing with some injuries. Deion Jones is out for a while. Keanu O'Neal tore his ACL week 1. He's out for the year. I think the Saints are going to bounce back on defense. Julio Jones has also been limited in practice this week, so I think the Saints bounce back and get the win in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think the thing that plays most for Atlanta that will help them is their crowd. Atlanta is notoriously loud in that stadium. Artificial sound or not, that's really good. The crowd always shows out for Atlanta. I like Matt Ryan. I think last week that win against the Panthers really helped them find their groove this year. I like Tevin Coleman, played really great last week. I think he can fill in that help with the limitation of Julio. So yeah, I'm taking the Falcons in this game as well. The Los Angeles Rams will be hosting the Los Angeles Chargers this week. Who do you got for this one, Jackson?
I'm going to take the Rams. Chargers defense has been suspect without Joey Bosa. He has not played, and he will not play. And the Rams just look like the best team in the NFL. So their defense they're the best team statistically defensively. And their offense, obviously, with Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, Sean McVay is a great coach. I think they're going to beat the Chargers by double digits.
Double digits, that's bold. What about you?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Jackson. I mean, the Rams are certainly living up to the hype with their defense, or their entire roster really rebuilt the defense, added so many free agents, and like you said, the loss of Joey Bosa is huge for the Chargers defense, so I think the Rams offense will be able to exploit that.
Yeah, when we first got together, you mentioned how you thought like the Chargers could be contenders for the Super Bowl this year. How much will that Bosa injury affect them?
It's certainly going to hold them back. Having him and Melvin Ingram rushing from one side just changes that whole defense. There's very few lines in the NFL that can stop that, but as good as Ingram is, he can't do it on his own, and I think Joey Bosa will set them back a little bit.
Yeah, I have to agree with you too. I like the Rams in this one. Todd Gurley's playing like an animal as usual. I like Jared Goff. Their receivers are their lineup of receivers is probably the best in the NFL, I think. I think it's just the Rams. Next, we got the Chicago Bears traveling to Phoenix to play the Cardinals. Who do you have, Perry?
I like the Bears a lot in this one. Their defense looked amazing on Monday night against Seattle, and the Cardinals' offense has put up 6 points through 2 games. So I think the Bears completely mismatch them on defense, and they'll dominate that game.
Yeah.
For me, I'm also going to go with the Bears. The part you left out is they got outscored 58-6 in their first 2 games, which is almost hard to do. It's comically bad.
It's impressive.
Impressively bad, yeah.
And the Bears have looked pretty good. Offense in the second half hasn't, but against that weak Cardinals defense, I think they'll dominate them.
Yeah. And I have to go with the Bears as well. I like their defense. I think Mitch Trubisky's finally settling down and maturing, getting used to that NFL playing style. I think Chicago takes this one on the road. And then we have on Sunday night, the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady will return to his hometown of Michigan to play the Detroit Lions. Who do you get for this?
Got the Patriots in this one. The Lions really haven't looked great for through the first 2 games. Matthew Stafford's really struggled to keep the ball in the offense's hands, and the defense has really struggled as well. I think the Patriots will bounce back from a bad week against Jacksonville, put up some points on Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to agree with Perry on this one. The Lions looked bad week 1 against Sam Darnold at home. Also, Matt Patricia, who's their head coach, is the old Patriots defense coordinator, so I think Bill Belichick's going to figure him out, and the Patriots are historically good coming off losses. They've lost back-to-back games once since 2013, so I think they're going to come out and get the win.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's coming off a tough loss in Jacksonville last weekend. Something I failed to mention prior to this, Josh Gordon has now been traded to the New England Patriots. How much of an impact do you think Josh Gordon will have on this team? Will he perform, live up to the hype? I think it's very low risk, high reward kind of thing. What do you guys think of Josh Gordon? I'll start with you, Jackson.
Well, in 2013, he had 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns with some pretty poor quarterbacks. But in the 4 years after that, he's missed 65 games out of a total 75. So it's kind of like you gotta actually get on the field and do it eventually. And it's not just a waste of talent, but it is very low risk. I mean, a 5th-round pick, and if it turns out, he plays well, he's one of the best receivers in the league. So I think it's worth it for them. But you gotta wait and see.
Yeah. What about you?
And like you said, Justin, high risk, low reward, or low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
He's they didn't trade too much for him. They just gave up a 7th or a 5th-round pick for him, and they got a 7th-round pick back. He's never had a quarterback like Brady, and he's still able to put up crazy numbers. And we've seen in the past Patriots taking guys who have some off-the-field troubles and kind of shape them up. I don't think he has an immediate impact. Maybe give it a week or 2, but eventually they'll integrate him into the system, and he'll put up some great numbers.
Yeah. Do you think he'll play Sunday?
I think he will play Sunday, but very limited. He was limited in practice this week. They said he was taking in a lot. He's learning a lot quickly. He's a very smart guy on the football sense of the word, but he just needs to stay on the field, and I think he'll see a few snaps this week.
Yeah, he'll probably be on a snap count,
Yeah.
but they'll definitely get him some plays.
Yeah, so with that game, I've taken the Patriots as well, for the reasons these two have stated. And lastly, the Pittsburgh Steelers are headed to Tampa Bay to play the red-hot Buccaneers with their quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Who do you like, Perry?
I like Fitzmagic in this one. He's been lights out. He's lighting up every defense he sees. The Steelers' defense really hasn't looked great. They got Mahomes put up 6 touchdown passes on them last week. And I think the Fitzpatrick just keeps it going, and they're able to hang on against the Steelers.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. I think they bounce back and they get the win. They kind of have to keep up with the Bengals in that division. So I think they're going to go out on Monday night and get the win.
Yeah, I like the Steelers. Antonio Brown's been publicly releasing his frustration to the media. Like, he's making it known that he's not really happy right now with how the team's performing. Again, as I said earlier, I think Mike Tomlin has seen a few things and will know what to do to fix these issues. But I'm going to agree with Jackson here and go with Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, that's all we have time for today, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're no longer rookies. I'm happy for you guys. We'll be back next week unless another hurricane shows up. But
Hopefully not.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.